Good to get out and get some corrections from the scrimmage yesterday, making some adjustments. Got a lot of young guys working some critical situations, mixed the looks up. Got a lot of young guys with ones at times and took guys out of the game as if something would happen and worked those scenarios. So for the most part, they did a pretty good job. Scrimmage was probably a little too inconsistent for my opinion, my liking, in that I thought each side made the most best plays when the other side just didn't execute. And that's usually what happens, but I mean, I like to see a little tighter execution, but we put some young guys in some different situations to get some different scenarios in there. Whether it was a quarterback, the back, a receiver, offensive lineman, guys, if you played for injuries, and just to see how they would interact and do that. Both young quarterbacks got a lot of time with the ones and twos and did it on purpose, and didn't scrimmage Kellen and Connor as much in that scenario because of that. I wanted to see them put them in some really tough situations with some really good people on the other side and how they reacted. So, but also did that with some of the young backs, the linemen, different guys. And on defense, we did the same thing too. So, but at the same time, our ones got work. So, just I wish it was a little more consistent. It was pretty physical for the most part, and both sides had their moments.
Jimbo, how did you feel like you guys responded to your criticism from last Thursday?
I thought it was a lot better. I think they understood the urgency and understood the physicality in which we got to play with. Again, I still think we're not executing at a high enough level, but we're in camp, but we need to get it. We're 11 days. Was it 11 days out now? How many days are we out? 11, 12, 10, whichever one, huh? 10 is one of them. But I'm trying to get an extra day, see. I was trying to get an extra day, see. But in those scenarios, I mean, from that urgency standpoint, now we just got to clean up some of the details of how we're doing it. Okay, see y'all later.
When camp started, the coaches poll came out, you're number 11. At that point, you said, hey, I don't see that right now. Today it comes out, you're number 12 in AP. What do you see now?
See, we dropped. See, I told you. I told you we already dropped. No, I mean, it's funny. I bet if you went around the country and asked that question, I bet nobody'd see it. Not even who's number 1, number 2, number 3. I've been there too and say, what the heck they looking at? You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, I can see that team. We're not that team yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe we're better. I mean, I really do. I mean, I think we have good enough players. It's just a matter of how we execute and get all the details and understand each and identify the roles for the guys and make sure, as I say, the more we play with consistency, the more I'll visualize that, because it's like as a coach, you know who to put in what role. And if they do something one day or 2 days, you go, boy, here we go. And all of a sudden that third day they go, where did that come from? You start to trust in something and you don't. And I think that's with you sometimes. And so the more we develop consistency, maybe the more I'll see that. But, we can have a great year, and we can.
How'd you come out of the scrimmage health-wise?
Good. I mean, some bangs and bruises, but nothing that, guy may miss a day or two or something like that. But, I mean, guys nothing that was like Baylor, anything of that nature.
Like anybody in the scrimmage setting, because you had 2 of them under your belt without the coaches on the field, really strung them together, particular player or position group, strung a couple of good scrimmages?
I've been solidly happy with our offensive line. I mean, we had some guys at times, even with those guys in there, I think, and mixing and matching some guys. I think they've done a good job. I think our backs have been solid. Quarterbacks, defensive line has played pretty good. Been happy with some of our young safety play and our older safety play. I mean, our safeties have done a good job, I think, as I look at it. And we've kicked the ball well. Our kickers, our punters and kickers have hit the ball very well.
How's that center competition going?
Good. I mean, it's going real good. I mean, Prater and McCollum both like having 2 starters. You know what I'm saying? You got both guys in there, and you're working Luke in the background of that and Barton in there too, so you can't have enough centers. So feel very comfortable with that. And the good thing is either one of those guys could go play guard in 2 seconds too. We're mixing them at center and guard and that whole thing to develop an inside depth.
What's to say about Prater that McCollum was named spring MVP offensively, and all of a sudden he's kept.
Well, I mean, I think McCollum got banged up a little bit. Just had some nicks and knacks, and Prater was playing really well. And that's Prater, man. Prater's and not that McCollum isn't, but Prater's just like a pit bull dog. I mean, he just fights, scratch, claws, and quick. He's athletic, and he just competes. Doesn't matter what he just, coach, what do you need me to do? Yes, sir, and just goes and does it.
Where are you at cornerbacks with 2 veterans back?
I'm sorry?
Where are you at cornerbacks with the 2 veterans back and the youngsters, maybe challenging for playing time?
They are. I mean, we got to develop more depth there because the way teams play today, getting all them on the field and the nickels and the dimes and all that stuff. So, I mean, those young guys need to keep developing. And we got a couple guys that are nicked and knacked that have missed a little bit of time that they'll be fine. They're getting back in there now. But, we're still not – I don't think we're where we want to be as far as depth and numbers quite yet with consistency.
And what are you seeing from 2 guys, Anthony Hines, as it's continued progressing, and also Michael Clemens?
Clemens has played really well. I've been very pleased with him. Thought he had a good scrimmage the other night. playing a lot of different looks and special teams. He's running. He's having a really good camp. Hines has gotten much better each and every time. Now, he actually didn't scrimmage in the scrimmage the other night. He had a tweak. He'll be back. Should be back at practice tomorrow. And the fine was just something we held. But he had been, getting much better. I wish he had the scrimmage, because just to see it out there without it. But he's getting much, much better because he can run and play and really much more comfortable with that position.
Are you at the point where you think you can start hashing out a 2 deep?
To a point. I mean, but too deep in that there's so many unconventional, like you say, all right, if I got 3 linebackers, well, sometimes I need 2 linebackers, sometimes I need 1, I need a nickel and a dime. You know what I mean? So that's where we're trying to keep that depth, where, getting 2, make sure we got 2 and 3 dimes, 2 and 3 nickels and that stuff. So it's getting close, yes.
How about the tight ends since you lost?
We're solid in the scrimmage, and again, need to play with a little more consistency, but have ability and make plays. You see them, they'll miss a little route or how they do something or just a cut, but then they'll get 3 cutoffs in a row. Just play with a little more consistency, but the ability's there, and made plays in the passing game. All those guys made plays in the passing game.
Caleb Chapman still emerging, Jimbo?
Yeah, he had some good plays, and just learned to be a little more consistent on some other routes, but he's making plays down the field. He can get vertical, he can catch the ball, he's a big target, got good ball skills.
When you have a speaking engagement, maybe especially in the offseason, how aware are you now, maybe compared to years past, that, hey, whatever I say right now might automatically be on the end?
Oh, Lord. Much more. You kind of took it. I don't know if I've changed. I'm just more cognizant of how I say it. You know what I'm saying? I just say it sometimes. Try to make sure when I say things, but before, you're never, if no one's saying it, you can say it loosely and people can interpret it different ways. I think you got to make sure how you say it. You can say the same things, but you got to really understand how for them to interpret what you're trying to say. Does that make sense? Of how the words you use, it's still the same content, but how you use it and what you say. Because as you know, I can say the same thing, but we forget it's like texting. Texting doesn't look at the joking smile I said it with, or see, people don't realize 70% of your eye contact come with your eyes. It's not verbal. Your eye contact can tell you how a guy's saying something, meaning something. Well, you can't say, and when you're speaking now, that's going away because everybody's texting it and saying it. And so those things are off. So how you really do speak has to be more as if you were texting, I guess you would say. If that makes any sense. We've taken the humor out of and the fun out of talking anymore.
You brush up on your English?
Yeah, you gotta learn real words now. Them country words I grew up with, them slangs, don't get it.
Hey, going back to the poll, what are your overall thoughts on preseason polls? I know some people like them, some people don't.
Well, you got to start somewhere. Like I say, I'd rather start up high than I would down low. Somebody thinks something good of you, low. But at the end of the day, it doesn't prove anything. It's just that, people do think that you have potential to be a good team, and hopefully it does not motivate, but let guys know that people do think highly of you, and people always like that. But now, at the end of the day, it gets back to what do I think of myself and how we're going to play. So, it is what it is.
How's Bobby Brown continue to develop, and what do you think about your chance to have a really good middle pass rush?
I think we can, and I think that's become more important in football today than it's ever been, because you're seeing shorter guys play, more athletic guys play, and those guys that rush up the field so much and create those seams. Well, we know big guys, you can do that. Well, now you see ends, like in a lot of those guys, they'll set the edges, and then you take that pocket and you go set it on their lap. You know what I mean? Or try to create twists and games in there. So that's what I've seen in football. The inside rush is becoming so much more important now than it was years ago, in my opinion. And I think that's why guards are going higher in the draft. You're having to get those bigger guards to set the interior. If you remember, guards and centers used to never go, was always tackles. Now you're starting to see some of those guys, because being able to get guys of size and athleticism to set that inside down for quarterbacks to be able to play is becoming big. So them having a big rush is going to be huge, and I think they can.
Bobby's development?
You're doing well. He's getting better and better.
After Thursday, what were some of the tangible ways that you saw that the team was making your turnaround, and for some of those intangibles that you were looking for? What was the
And I guess you'd have to be more specific, because with me, there's a zillion of them, and I say it from a head coach. Whether it's special team, whether it's nickel, whether it's dime, whether it's third down packages for us, red zone, goal line, there's a ton of them. We're not there, but we have repped them. They know, and the big thing, when they see them now, they can tell you why it didn't happen or what they should have done, which they're getting the understanding of each situation. Because I think situational football is so big, and understanding what you're trying to accomplish by field position and time. And people say, well, isn't that it's because it's become specialized. You got your nickel guy, your dime guy, your slot receiver, your third down back. It's become like having 4 relievers, like I do in baseball now. You know what I mean? You pitch 5 innings, you get a 6th reliever and a 7th and 8th, and then you get the 9th, and then it's all become football's becoming in that way too. So I think understanding when those guys go in the game what their role is, and I think the more we put them in those situations, the better we'll be, and we'll play smarter football.
Jimbo, you said that you were pleased with what you saw from the safety position. Any specific guys you can talk
No,
about?
I just think tackle well, space, played the middle of the field well at times. We got some plays over top at